The season begins in a classroom at Jongguk High School. Seo-yeon, the class monitor, is quietly studying. Behind her, So-woo watches her and smiles. She doesn't understand his strange smile, and he walks away. After class, Seo-yeon is trying to relax, but suddenly chaos breaks out. She rushes to the lab and sees So-woo fighting with a senior student named Woo-hyuk, who is known for bullying. So-woo tries to defend himself, but Woo-hyuk keeps beating him. He almost chokes So-woo. Just then, teachers arrive and stop the fight. Even in that moment, So-woo keeps looking at Seo-yeon. Later, So-woo meets Mr. Han, the head of the school's legal team. Mr. Han warns him that Woo-hyuk's father is a powerful figure on the school's anti-violence committee. If the incident goes public, So-woo will face serious punishment. He suggests So-woo accept the earlier offer to transfer schools quietly. They promise to handle everything, but only if he keeps silent. So-woo refuses. He says the incident may be buried, but it will stay with him forever. The next day, a teacher enters the classroom and asks if anyone witnessed the fight. No one speaks up. Everyone is afraid of Woo-hyuk's power. The teacher then questions Seo-yeon directly in the staff room. She denies seeing anything. So Woo overhears and gets upset. He says she's just like everyone else and walks away. At the meeting, So-woo doesn't show up. He enters the class, collects his things, and walks out of the school. The other students watch from their windows as he raises his middle finger and leaves. The anti-violence committee sees this too. The next day, the school is covered in snow. Jun-young, one of Seo-yeon's classmates, arrives early. He sees someone near the bushes, as he notices a hand sticking out of the snow. He starts digging and finds So-woo's body. Seo-yeon arrives and both are left in shock. Panic spreads. Police and ambulances arrive. A detective inspects the scene. Parents start calling in. The principal fires a guard on the spot for leaving the rooftop door open, which allowed So-woo to go up. The guard begs, but he's dismissed immediately. The chairman also arrives. A teacher briefs him that So-woo hadn't been attending school and showed signs of depression. The police decide to treat the case as unthinkable act. The school chooses not to interfere and plans a parent-teacher meeting to explain everything. Detective Oh, who is leading the case, arrives with her partner Sang-jung, who is also Seo-yeon's father. They question Seo-yeon and Jun-young, since they were the first to find So-woo's body. Detective Oh asks if anything strange had happened with So-woo. Hearing this, Seo-yeon becomes tense. The detectives notice and pause their questioning. Seo-yeon stays quiet and distant. When she enters the classroom, her teacher tells her So-woo has committed unthinkable act. Seo-yeon breaks down. Later at home, she spends time with her family. Her mother tries to comfort her with food. In her room, Seo-yeon burns her testimony she had prepared for the anti-violence committee. She believes So-woo took his own life because of her and feels guilty for not stopping it. Rumors begin spreading in the school's sentinel group. Some students claim So-woo didn't die by unthinkable act as someone might have pushed him. Detective Oh calls in Woo-hyuk for questioning after reading comments the students have posted in the group. He doesn't confess but insists he didn't kill So-woo. Afterward, his father comes to station and scolds Detective Oh as she reaches his son without any warrant. The next day, the investigation is closed and classes resume. When Woo-hyuk returns to school, students stare at him, whispering that he killed So-woo. A teacher scolds Seo-yeon's group for spreading rumors. Jun-young returns home with medicine for his mother. They decide to dine in a newly opened restaurant. There, she scolds him angrily, accusing him of hiding things about So-woo's death. Their relationship seems strained. She gets sick from the stress and Jun-young's father rushes her to the hospital. Jun-young cries outside. In the next room, Seo-yeon hears everything and feels even more heartbroken. The school holds a morning ritual for So-woo. Everyone sits silently. Seo-yeon is teary-eyed. Jun-young leaves in the middle. A band arrives to pay final tribute. Among them is Ji-hoon, So-woo's best friend. Though no one knew about their bond. Seo-yeon texts Jun-young, but he doesn't reply. Worried, she remembers him saying people die when they're tired of life. She checks a classroom, but he's not there. Suddenly, he posts a photo of a rooftop. Seo-yeon realizes where he is and runs. Meanwhile, Jun-young stands on the rooftop, crying, ready to jump. He's haunted by So-woo's death. Seo-yeon reaches the rooftop and finds Jun-young sitting down, devastated. She tells him that people can't just end their lives like this. She reminds him that just because things are hard now doesn't mean the future won't be better. Life still has chances as they're only 18 and their whole life is ahead. Seo-yeon and Jun-young both start crying. She hugs him and says everything will be okay. Things will get better. She promises they'll come to school together, support each other, and be friends again. Meanwhile, Ji-hoon returns home. His father, Mr. Han, has ordered a special dinner. He asks Ji-hoon if he's still planning to go to America, but Ji-hoon refuses. Mr. Han brushes it off. Ji-hoon apologizes, saying he's not feeling well but will be fine soon. The next day, the school fires the security guard for leaving the rooftop door open. As the guard leaves, he kicks the principal's office door and finds a letter. He, as a revenge, takes the letter quickly. At Seo-yeon's home, the doorbell rings but no one is there. When she checks, she finds a letter outside. The letter claims So-woo didn't commit unthinkable act as he was murdered. It says that on December 25, 2016, So-woo was pushed off the school rooftop by Woo-hyuk and his two friends, Lee and Kim, after a fight. The writer says she witnessed everything from a window. Seo-yeon is shocked and scared. The letter is from Lee Ju-ri, their class fellow, but Seo-yeon doesn't know this. The next day on the bus, Cho-rong, also a fellow student, asks Jory if they did the right thing by leaving the letter at Seo-yeon's gate. Jory confidently says yes, because Seo-yeon's father is a detective, and he will definitely do something. Seo-yeon shows the letter to her father. At first, he thinks it might be a prank, but Seo-yeon insists it must be investigated. Sang-jung tells her not to worry and promises he'll handle it. Her mom takes her away, assuring her they'll take care of everything. The next day, Sang-jung visits the principal's office. He shows the letter and mentions the posts on social media. The principal admits he already knew something was wrong, but chose to ignore it because they're just kids. The vice principal calls it all a rumor, saying grief might be affecting their judgment. Just then, Detective O arrives. She declares they want to reopen the investigation because now there's a witness. She says the case has completely changed. The principal resists, saying he wants to protect the students and doesn't want chaos again at school. But Detective O says this isn't over until justice is served. When principal asks what should be done, they suggest psychological counseling for the students. Everyone agrees. Seo-yeon asks her father about the investigation, but he hesitates to share details. Then he asks about Woo-hyuk. Seo-yeon says Woo-hyuk is known for being aggressive and constantly fights with others. He's like the school's public enemy #1. She wonders if the letter sender wants her to investigate more. Her father brushes it off, calling it gut feeling, and tells her to leave it to the police. That same night, a local reporter, Park, also receives the same letter. The next day at school, students are called in for psychological counseling. Jory gets nervous that Cho-rong might reveal they sent the letters, but Cho-rong stays calm and insists she said nothing. When Jory goes in, the detective grows suspicious of her answers. Jory questions why she needs counseling since her school life is normal, and she quickly leaves. When asked about fights with boys, she says she has no interest in anyone. Later, Woo-hyuk sees Cho-rong and Jory and mocks them before walking away. As girls head home, reporter Park approaches them for a talk. Meanwhile, Seo-yeon goes to deliver coffee to the detective, but accidentally sees files mentioning surveillance on Cho-rong and Jory. She asks if she saw anything, but Seo-yeon laughs it off. Outside, she starts wondering why they are being watched. Seo-yeon later meets Cho-rong and Jory at a restaurant under the pretense of returning a notebook. Cho-rong tries to talk normally, but Jory grows tense and ends up storming off. Outside, she calls reporter Park and says she'll reveal everything before anyone else can twist the story. She'll speak up first. Park later confronts the school's foundation president. When the president refuses to respond, Park provokes him. The president grabs Park by the collar, and it all gets caught on camera. As a result, Mr. Han receives a formal interview request he can't ignore and finally agrees to go public. The next day, Park visits the principal and asks about the accusation letter. The principal denies everything until shown the letter. Then he says he had no idea and may have just ignored things. Meanwhile, Seo-yeon messages Jong-pa, the Sentinel account currently running by Ji-hoon, but no one knows his identity, asking why So-woo really killed himself. He admits he's been wondering the same thing. Later, the students watch Park's interview where the letter and Jory's testimony are revealed. Jory's face is blurred, but seeing the truth come out makes her feel relieved and happy. After watching the interview, Cho-rong meets Jory and tells her they did the right thing. She says they should now go to the police because Jory saw everything and should be ready to testify. If the truth comes out, the principal, detective, and others might lose their jobs. But Jory says that nothing will change. Woo-hyuk killed So-woo, and if she speaks up, everyone will blame her. Cho-rong insists they were scared and both of them are victims, so they should tell the police everything. Jory fears that Woo-hyuk won't spare her. He might kill her just like he killed So-woo, but Cho-rong says if they go under protection, they'll be safe, and she'll protect Jory. Jory suddenly lashes out, saying no one is her friend, mocks Cho-rong's clothes, and puts her down. Cho-rong then finally asks if Jory really saw what happened, or if she made it up. Jory insists she saw it with her own eyes. Cho-rong says they should go to the police again because this has gone viral online and it's too big now. But she can't take the pressure and runs away. As she runs across the street, a truck hits her. Cho-rong is deeply injured. The next day at school, students gossip that Woo-hyuk should be expelled. Parents are confused and angry on reopening the case. But on stage, Sang-jung explains that even his daughter is a student here. But reopening the case is necessary because of the accusations. Meanwhile, Seo-yeon hears about Cho-rong's accident and rushes to ask Jory what happened. Jory, now in the nurse's room, says Cho-rong wrote the letter and forced her to be part of it. She denies any link to the letter. Seo-yeon is shocked and asks if she feels no guilt. Cho-rong is in a coma now. Jory turns it around and says, Cho-rong was the one who pushed herself in front of a truck, and if her friends had believed in her, maybe she wouldn't have taken such a step. Seo-yeon feels disgusted and walks away. Outside, she breaks down in tears. Jun-young finds her and comforts her. Mr. Han meets reporter Park and asks who gave him the letter, but Park refuses to reveal his source. Jory visits Cho-rong at the hospital and says maybe Cho-rong will never wake up, and she might even die. If that happens, Jory will survive alone. Back at school, some girls blame Jory for what happened to Cho-rong. They think Jory wrote the letter. Jory stays silent. She's about to break down when the teacher helps her and tells the class that Jory won't attend school for a few days. Finally, reporter Park meets Seo-yeon. He says the students are too focused on who wrote the letter or how Cho-rong had her accident, but someone needs to uncover why So-woo really died. He says Seo-yeon has to take that role. Seo-yeon thinks for a moment, then says she will uncover the truth no matter what. She knows no one will help her as the adults won't do anything. So, it's up to the kids to find the truth. Ji-hoon stands in his room, lost in memories of So-woo. He remembers how they first became friends when both were admitted to the hospital's psychiatric ward. Just then, his father enters and says So-woo wasn't someone who would take his own life. Meanwhile, Seo-yeon, deep in thought, gathers all her friends for dinner. She tells them she's about to make a big decision and needs their support. When asked what it is, she says time will reveal everything. Her friends promise to stand by her no matter what. Detective Oh meets Woo-hyuk and his friends at a restaurant. She questions them again about the night So-woo died. Kim gets nervous and tries to leave, but Woo-hyuk insists him to stay. The detective presses harder, asking what he's hiding. Woo-hyuk insists all three were together that night, then leaves. But Kim tells her privately that he has an alibi and was not with them and doesn't know what they did that night. The next day, Woo-hyuk's mother storms into the station, furious that her son is being treated like a suspect without evidence. She threatens to sue Jory for defamation and walks out. During a school assembly, Seo-yeon and her friends worry about the current school condition. Student advisor shows up and penalizes them with disciplinary points. When Seo-yeon questions her, she blames the students for all the chaos. Seo-yeon pushes back, saying it's the school's fault. She orders Seo-yeon to speak openly, and as tensions rise, the other students start recording on their phones. The teacher threatens them, but no one stops filming. She then accuses Seo-yeon of being the source of the letter. Seo-yeon finally declares she won't stay silent anymore. She asks her friends if they don't feel guilty for staying quiet, but says she will uncover the truth about So-woo's death herself. When she refuses to back down, student advisor slaps her. The entire class rises in protest and begins recording, turning against the teacher. When her parents find out how the teacher treated Seo-yeon, she tells them there's no need to interfere. She has decided to investigate So-woo's case herself and needs their support. She then walks out of the house. Meanwhile, Ji-hoon reads posts from Seo-yeon and others. He realizes something serious is happening and messages her as Jong-pa, suggesting she reopen the case. They begin chatting and planning, with Ji-hoon offering many ideas and guiding her. Detective Oh visits Jury's house again, but she refuses to answer any questions, claiming she can't talk. When told she could face defamation charges, she gets scared and throws her out. Seo-yeon and her mother go to meet the teacher who hit her, but the vice principal says she's unwell and also claims Seo-yeon provoked her. This angers Seo-yeon's mom, who threatens to report the school to the Ministry of Education. She pretends to call for scaring the vice principal and leaves. Outside, she tells her daughter that now he will listen to her, so Seo-yeon should go inside and do her best. Seo-yeon returns and asks to hold a school trial to investigate the case publicly. The student advisor rejects the idea, but Seo-yeon shows her the video of her behavior. The vice principal gets angry, but is silenced. Seo-yeon insists this is the only way to uncover the truth. Then, Min-suk, the class deputy president, steps in and supports Seo-yeon. He argues that if they don't act now, they'll regret it forever. The vice principal finally agrees. Later, Seo-yeon presents the school trial plan to the entire class. She explains that as seniors, they will lead the trial, investigate the truth, and handle the case themselves. But none of the students agree to sign, except Seo-yeon's close friends. Outside, they realize they need 500 signatures to get approval. Her friends start collecting them. Ji-hoon joins in and tells Seo-yeon that if this is a trial, Woo-hyuk will need a lawyer. Since no one at school respects him, Ji-hoon offers to defend him as he's from another school. But Seo-yeon says they haven't even gathered enough consent yet. When Ji-hoon insists, she snaps, saying he's crossing boundaries and walks away angrily. At home, she lies in bed, frustrated and upset. Meanwhile, in a board meeting, the vice principal is questioned for allowing this. The chairman says they had no other choice, as students would have found another way. He believes Seo-yeon will not manage to gather the signatures. Meanwhile, Jun-young gathers his friends and gets them to sign the consent forms. Seo-yeon finds out her friends have blocked her because she spoke rudely to Ji-hoon. She feels upset sitting in a park. Jun Young follows her and tries to control the situation. She asks for his phone to check his social media. There, she sees that her friends are at a special concert, where Ji-hoon is performing as a guest. She decides to go there too. At the venue, she sees Ji-hoon performing. He had invited the students and collected many consent forms during the event. Meanwhile, Ju-ri receives a court letter of defamation. She breaks down crying. Just then, her mom enters and tries to calm her down. Soyeon meets Ji-hoon and tells him this isn't a joke. If he treated it like a game, he should stop. This case is about someone's death. Ji-hoon calmly says he's serious and asks why she thinks otherwise. Seoyeon asks if he knew So-woo personally, but Ji-hoon says no, he didn't. Seoyeon asks Ji-hoon why he tries to act like the lead in all this. He replies that he's just curious and wants to find out the real reason behind So-woo's unthinkable act. Seoyeon admits she wants the same. She finally agrees to work with him and tells her friends that Ji-hoon will now join their side. Meanwhile, Ju-ri records a disturbing video with her mom nearby. She acts mentally unstable and blames her trauma on the school and her friends, saying everyone thinks she's responsible. Woo-hyuk's mom has already filed a defamation case, which worsens things for her. The next day, Seoyeon and her friends submit over 500 consent forms to the vice principal. They also secure a club hall at the school. In a staff meeting, it's announced that unless a teacher sponsors them, they can't use the hall. No one speaks up until their homeroom teacher finally agrees. She shows them the messy hall, and the students begin cleaning it together. Ji-hoon meets his father, Mr. Han, revealing he joined the trial to end So-woo's name once and for all. He doesn't like that people are gossiping about him even after death. Later, Seoyeon and her friends prepare the trial setup. Ji-hoon arrives, saying the first hearing must be held sooner because the school is trying to shut them down. Seoyeon agrees. They also realize they need a judge. Seoyeon sends a friend to Min-suk, a fair and honest person, who agrees to take the role. Then they visit Ju-ri to convince her to testify. Her mom is against it, but Ju-ri lets them in. She types on her iPad to communicate since she pretends that she can't speak properly. Seoyeon shows her the accusation letter, reminding her that writing it meant she trusted Seoyeon to bring the truth out. Ju-ri agrees to testify, but only if Seoyeon promises to leave the trial. Seoyeon agrees. Seoyeon's friends, who overheard everything, accuse her of being ungrateful. They walk away upset. Later, Ju-ri and her mom post the disturbing video online, and it spreads fast. Reporter Park sees it and decides to support the trial. He wants to make a video, but Seoyeon refuses, saying it could hurt Ju-ri more. She insists the video should protect Ju-ri. After that, Ji-hoon meets Woo-hyuk and says he's ready to be his lawyer in the trial, but Woo-hyuk angrily refuses. He accuses Ji-hoon of trying to manipulate the trial and says he knows Ji-hoon and Seoyeon are scheming. Ji-hoon says he trusts Woo-hyuk and knows he didn't kill So-woo. If Woo-hyuk testifies, the school will believe him. Woo-hyuk slaps Ji-hoon, warns him to stay away, and storms off. When Woo-hyuk returns home, he sees someone has spray-painted murderer on their main gate. His father gets furious and starts beating him. His grandmother rushes in to protect him, but Woo-hyuk leaves. After that, a man enters their home from a truck, and suddenly the house catches fire. Woo-hyuk is away when he gets a call. He runs home only to find out that his grandmother has died in the fire. He breaks down but can't say anything. At the club hall, the rest of the friends are deeply saddened. They believe Woo-hyuk might never join the trial now. Meanwhile, Sang-jung starts investigating the fire incident. Woo-hyuk then goes to Juri's house, blames her for everything, and starts vandalizing her home, saying her viral video caused all this. Seoyeon arrives and tries to stop him, but when Woo-hyuk tries to hit her, Seoyeon's friend arrives and protects her. Juri's mother comes out and pours a bucket of water over Seoyeon. Seoyeon, sobbing and begging for forgiveness, blames herself for everything. Later, Jongpa messages Seoyeon, lifting her spirits. The friends regroup and restart their work on the trial. Ji-hoon tells the group that Woo-hyuk has agreed to testify in the trial. Everyone is shocked. When Seoyeon asks why he changed his mind, Ji-hoon stays silent. She suspects there's more to the story. Their homeroom teacher calls Seoyeon to meet So-woo's elder brother, who reveals that So-woo didn't die by unthinkable act. He also gives Seoyeon the proof of it. Ji-hoon watches quietly from behind. Previously, when Ji-hoon visits Woo-hyuk, Woo-hyuk forces him to drink alcohol as a condition to join the trial. Ji-hoon, who has never drunk before, has no choice but to accept. When he returns home, painful childhood memories surface that his father abusing his mother while he hid. Scared. Outside his room, Mr. Han notices Ji-hoon is drunk and gives him lemon water, saying he understands something big must have pushed him to do this. Next morning, Seoyeon is anxious about the first trial. She's running late, but Jun-young helps her reach on time. In class, they finalize the jury after questioning candidates. Jury is finally selected. Seoyeon messages Juri, telling her the trial starts at 10 a.m. and invites her to attend. Juri reads the message silently. The vice principal tries to convince Seoyeon's mother to stop the trial, but she supports her daughter. All students' names are submitted for skipping class to attend the trial. When Jun-young's mom hears, She bursts into his room and blaming him for everything. He finally stops her and screams that he hates her. She hits him again, but he leaves home. Ji-hoon finds Jun-young at the club hall sleeping. Ji-hoon says he came to grab his books. He then invites him to stay at his place. That night, Jun-young confesses that after So-woo's death, he saw someone else there but stayed quiet as he was not sure because of the heavy snowfall. Finally, the trial begins. Min-suk introduces himself as the judge and explains it's a mock trial with no real legal consequences. It is just a search for truth. A parent tries to stop it, causing a scene, but Min-suk silences the crowd. Even when his own mother interrupts, he firmly tells her to leave. Suddenly, Woo-hyuk enters the hall. Everyone is shocked and starts taking photos. Even Mr. Han sees this on his office CCTV and watches intently. Seo-yeon then speaks first, revealing she has the proof that someone saw Woo-hyuk physically attack So-woo before his death. And also, in the lab incident, he brutally assaults So-woo. Many students witnessed it. She says it was a one-sided assault. Seo-yeon adds that So-woo knew he would be expelled, so he skipped the biased committee and left. She declares that it now seems clear. So-woo was murdered. She directly charges Woo-hyuk for So-woo's death. After the break, the trial resumes and Ji-hoon continues questioning Woo-hyuk. Woo-hyuk says that when he entered the lab, So-woo was already there, staring at him intensely. He didn't understand why. So-woo then started mocking him, calling him a sewer rat. Woo-hyuk got angry and beat him up, but he says it wasn't that serious and he forgot about it later. Ji-hoon agrees, as it wasn't a big deal, just a fight. But when Seo-yeon questions Woo-hyuk and asks where he was that night, he says he was drinking with friends. Seo-yeon asks if anyone can confirm this. Woo-hyuk claims his friends are there in the hall and they can verify it, but as soon as Seo-yeon turns to ask one of them, Kim nervously stands up and says he doesn't know anything and wasn't with Woo-hyuk that night. This exposes Woo-hyuk's lie. The court resumes and Kim reveals he wasn't actually with Woo-hyuk that night. He says Woo-hyuk forced him to lie. He doesn't know what Woo-hyuk and Lee did that night as they were drunk, so they left without him. Hearing this, Woo-hyuk gets angry and insults him. He tries to attack Kim, but the students hold him back. Min-suk, seeing this, tells the court will resume in 4 minutes. Meanwhile, Seo-yeon tells the audience that Woo-hyuk not only faked his alibi, but also tried to make his friend lie. This proves he's hiding something about that night. Ji-hoon then brings Seo-yeon the accusation letter. She reads it aloud. It says that on December 25th, Woo-hyuk, Lee, and Kim were on the school rooftop, and they killed So-woo. But Kim had claimed he was elsewhere, so the accusation is clearly false. The audience is stunned. Seo-yeon looks at Juri in the crowd. Hearing this, she leaves immediately. The students suspect Juri wrote the accusation herself. Later, Juri meets Seo-yeon privately and gives her the real letter about the events of that night, saying she's ready to testify, but only if it stays secret and she never has to appear in front of the Woo-hyuk. She believes the letter is accurate and says Seo-yeon must trust it. Juri adds that Cho-rong might have seen someone standing on the roof with Woo-hyuk and Lee and mistakenly assumed it was Kim. Seo-yeon presses her and asks if she actually saw Kim up there, or if it was just her assumption. Juri snaps back in frustration, insisting that she really saw everything that happened that night with her own eyes. But in the next moment, her tone shifts. She accuses herself of only speaking lies now, of not knowing what's true anymore. Emotionally overwhelmed, Juri rips the letter she was holding into pieces and suddenly storms out of the room. Seo-yeon tries to follow her, calling out her name, but Juri disappears down the hall. No matter where Seo-yeon looks, she can't find her. At the same time, reporter Park continues investigating. He finds new digital evidence showing that the IP address used to access the Sentinel account, the one that posted anonymously about corruption and school affairs, was different before and after December. Before December, someone else was using it. After that, the IP changed. Park meets with Detective O and shares his findings. He confidently states that they've now confirmed the original Sentinel was So-woo himself. Detective O is stunned, especially because someone is still posting as the Sentinel. This means the account didn't die with So-woo, as someone else is now controlling it. Park suspects there's a second administrator of the Sentinel account, someone who was trusted enough by So-woo to be given access. Detective O asks who it could be. Park responds that So-woo didn't seem to have close friends, at least none who were publicly visible. But Park suggests that maybe So-woo did have a friend, as someone quiet, someone hiding in plain sight, someone with a good reason to remain anonymous even now. That night, Ji-hoon visits Woo-hyuk. Woo-hyuk is leaving the house angrily with bruises. Ji-hoon asks if his dad always treated him like this, but Woo-hyuk brushes it off. Ji-hoon finally asks where he was that night. Woo-hyuk insists he was where he said, then admits he was with Lee. They were stressed, and Lee tried to calm him down. Ji-hoon doesn't believe him and leaves. Woo-hyuk follows and confesses he saw someone in his house that night, but he thought it was a dream. His father scolds him badly after asking about it. He tells Ji-hoon this because he thinks he deserves to know, then leaves. Meanwhile, Kim meets Seo-yeon's team and confesses he was at another bar that night. Seoyeon and her friends try to get the CCTV footage, but the owner refuses. Kim remembers the place was crowded, so they search social media for photos. Eventually, they find a picture showing Kim at the bar, thus proving he wasn't with Woo-hyuk. As he tries to leave, Lee grabs him and asks why he lied. Kim says they weren't even real friends as Lee always ignored him. Lee accuses him of having an inferiority complex. Lee insults him and tries to walk away, but Kim punches him. They fight. During the scuffle, Lee pushes Kim, who falls down the stairs. Lee tries to save him but fails. Teachers rush over as Kim is seriously injured. Lee panics and runs away. Later, the student prosecutors gather. Seoyeon fears this accident could end their trial. She wanted justice for a victim, but now there's a new one. Ji-hoon blames himself. He knew the accusation was fake but printed it anyway, hoping it would pressure Woo-hyuk into telling the truth. Seoyeon gets angry, says she'll now treat this like a real trial, and leaves. She tells her friends she never believed in the jury before, but now she will, and she'll act like a real prosecutor. Then she opens Choi's real letter, follows its clues, and heads to the rooftop with her teacher for a proper investigation. Seoyeon carefully checks everything according to Jory's letter. Then she decides to climb to the edge of the rooftop. The teachers try to stop her, but she insists as Jory had heard a metal sound that night, yet nothing on the roof seems metallic. Seoyeon climbs the rail with difficulty. Everyone watches in fear. When she finally steps on the edge, they hear a metallic noise, just like Jory described. This confirms Jory really saw something that night, and it proves the incident was a murder. Seoyeon tells her friends not to jump to conclusions yet. Later, the vice principal calls Ji-hoon to his office and requests him to end the trial. But Ji-hoon says if this is because of the Anti-Violence Committee's exposure, the vice principal must appear as a witness and prove everything was false. The vice principal goes silent. Ji-hoon shares this with his father, who asks if the vice principal just fears the truth. Ji-hoon says maybe this trial will uncover even more secrets and smiles as he walks away, while his father watches him, deep in thought. Seoyeon visits Jory's home one last time, but Jory's mother tells her they're leaving town soon. Seoyeon leaves a message that she believes in Jory completely. The next day, the second day of trial begins, and this time Jory finally shows up. 3 months earlier, when Ji-hoon and So-woo were living together, So-woo accidentally entered Mr. Han's library and found a file in Mr. Han's office labeled Students Under Special Management. He gets shocked but manages to take photos of all the pages on his phone before the teachers arrive. At the second day of the trial, Seoyeon sees Jory and runs after her. Jory says she came to see the school one last time before leaving and to testify. According to the conditions, the defendant is taken out briefly and Jory begins her statement. That night, during heavy snowfall, she went out for fresh air and walked to the cafe, which is near school. From there, she saw someone on the rooftop, but wasn't sure due to the snow. When she went up, she saw Woo-hyuk and Lee. She clearly heard Woo-hyuk say he wouldn't let So-woo live. Someone else was there too. She assumed it was Lee due to the voice. She saw Woo-hyuk push So-woo off the roof and ran away, scared she'd be killed too. Seoyeon then plays a video of the metal railing, proving Jory's description matches reality. This confirms Jory's statement and shows the letter wasn't a lie. During a break, Jory cries in the restroom. Seoyeon tries to comfort her, but their homeroom teacher says it's okay. Let her release her emotions. Later, Junyoung meets Ji-hoon and tells him that it is also possible that Jory may have really been on the trail and heard everything. Ji-hoon says he already knew but didn't want to pressure her. Junyoung praises him for caring about the witness even as a defendant. After the break, the vice principal appears. He says he's here to correct things and denies all accusations from the first hearing. He claims the Anti-Violence Committee followed protocol and says they removed So-woo after a complaint by Woo-hyuk. He blames the students for not stepping forward earlier. Ji-hoon questions how Woo-hyuk's father could be on the committee. The vice principal gets angry, but Ji-hoon shows a policy that disqualifies any parent involved in a related case. The vice principal storms out. Mr. Han watches all this and recalls Ji-hoon's words that more secrets may be exposed. Seoyeon then brings Kim to the stand again. Woo-hyuk is furious at Kim, but others hold him back. Kim says he once heard Woo-hyuk say he killed So-woo. Woo-hyuk gets angry and rushes at Kim again, but students stop him. During another break, Ji-hoon leaves and tells Junyoung to continue the trial if he doesn't return. Ji-hoon goes to meet Lee. At first, Lee refuses, but Ji-hoon confronts him, saying he wasn't there when his friend needed him. Ji-hoon reveals he knows about the settlement Kim took from Lee for staying silent. He reminds him he's the only one who can reverse this. Lee finally agrees to come with him. In Ji-hoon's absence, Junyoung starts questioning Kim. He asks if Kim liked Woo-hyuk as a person, but Kim immediately denies it. He says he never considered Woo-hyuk a friend, and even calls him trash, someone no one would ever want to associate with. Junyoung then points out to the jury that the witness clearly disliked Woo-hyuk and had strong bias. so his testimony can't be fully trusted. Seo-yeon quietly takes in this revelation, deeply thoughtful. Ji-hoon and Lee return, and Ji-hoon presents Lee as a witness. He asks if Woo-hyuk really said he killed So-woo. Lee explains it was a joke, as they often teased Kim like that because he overreacted to everything. He admits Kim's face went pale when the joke was made, and they just laughed and left. Then Lee reveals that he once directly asked So-woo why he got involved with someone like Woo-hyuk, knowing his personality. The audience is shocked. Ji-hoon quickly asks what So-woo replied. Lee says that one night he saw So-woo sitting outside the store, when Lee warned him to stay away from Woo-hyuk, saying he might hurt him again. So-woo said he was trying to meet someone through Woo-hyuk. At that moment, Mr. Han quietly enters the auditorium, recalling the day he met So-woo after the fight. 3 months ago, So-woo had posted the first page of the file on the Sentinel group. When Mr. Han found out, he realized So-woo had taken pictures of the entire file, but the post was quickly deleted. Mr. Han met So-woo by the riverbank and asked him to delete the photos because the case involved very powerful people. So-woo refused, thinking about poor students who worked hard to get admission. He believed the school was just a business that charged money unfairly, while Mr. Han said the school gave scholarships to poor kids and hired the best teachers, which is why it succeeded. So Woo called this a lie, saying the school used kids for business and politics and refused to sit with kids who didn't earn merit. Mr. Han warned So-woo they would transfer him quietly and erase all evidence. So-woo threw his phone into the water, saying he already deleted everything before leaving, but in his mind he still had everything. Before leaving, he told Mr. Han they would meet again. Back in the present, after the trial, Ji-hoon asks Lee why Woo-hyuk acts violently and keeps hurting people. Lee says Woo-hyuk rarely does this, only when his mom causes him stress. His dad beats him and his mom, and Lee has also seen his mom's face bruises. When upset, Woo-hyuk either drinks heavily or becomes violent. Ji-hoon says it's wrong, and even though Woo-hyuk has a domestic abusive house, Lee says he has tried to help him, but Woo-hyuk continues. Lee insists Woo-hyuk can't kill anyone, but Ji-hoon says they have no proof. Lee then explains that this might help or not, but the man Woo-hyuk was recently talking about, Lee has also seen him. He has long hairs and a burnt scar on her face. Meanwhile, Ji-hoon tries to crack So-woo's social account password, but fails. Mr. Han arrives, and Ji-hoon asks if So-woo wanted to meet him. Mr. Han says he was surprised when So-woo did all this just to meet him, since So-woo used to visit their house often and even stayed overnight sometimes. Ji-hoon wonders why So-woo went to such lengths just to meet him. Finally, Mr. Han confirms they know everything about So-woo. Later, Mr. Han returns to his room and changes the school policy that any student causing damage to school image can be expelled. He signs the new rule for approval. The next day, Seo-yeon receives a call from So-woo's older brother. She, along with his friends, decides to meet him, and he reveals So-woo had a private phone unknown to them. That night, 5 calls came to that phone, which might be related to So-woo's death. They write down those 5 numbers and leave. Then Seo-yeon says the last call lasted 20 minutes, which means it wasn't a wrong number. It must have been someone who knew So-woo. At the time So-woo died, they think those 5 phones are public payphones. They decide to share this information with Detective Oh and go meet her. Seo-yeon suggests maybe Woo-hyuk called So-woo to come to the school's rooftop, so nothing would show on their cell records. Detective says only a skilled person could do this, but doubts Woo-hyuk's mind is sharp enough, since he seems impulsive. She tells them their thinking is too narrow, and they might be missing the scene evidence is trying to show. She urges them to broaden their view. Then Woo-hyuk's mom comes to meet Ji-hoon, and finally reveals that on the night So-woo died, he was with her, and they didn't see Lee at all. Actually, her husband had beaten her badly, so she was in the hospital emergency room with her son alongside her. She would never admit this openly, because her husband threatened to kill her if the truth got out. Woo-hyuk fears that if the trial worsens, his father will harm her mother more. So she agrees to testify since his son is innocent and is ready to deal with the consequences. Ji-hoon says they will handle it safely, and there's no need for her testimony, but his mother insists that in this way at least, his son will be protected from dishonor. Ji-hoon assures her he will prove it and asks her to keep this private. She then asks what can she do as she can't just sit and watch everything happen. Ji-hoon says she can tell her about the tall man with scars who comes to their house and even once went into Woo-hyuk's room. This will prove Woo-hyuk's story. The mother falls silent, lost in thought. Meanwhile, Seo-yeon and her friends search all public payphones in the city and finally find the number from which the 20-minute call was made. It is near an old man's stationery shop. They ask the old man if he saw anyone talking there on Christmas night. The man remembers a student talking for 20 minutes, then crying a lot. He even asked if the boy was okay, and the boy said yes. Later, he read a news report that a high school student committed unthinkable act. He thought it might have been the same boy. Seo-yeon shows some pictures of boys from her school to the old man, but he fails to recognize. They consider it possible that the boy's picture may not be present in the photographs. Seo-yeon asks her friends if the old man might have forgotten the student's face. The friends say it's unlikely because the old man talked and comforted the student well, so forgetting the face seems hard. She says this information must be shared with the defense. Meanwhile, Ji-hoon visits the police station to meet Detective Oh and Sang-jung. They tell him they can't reveal anything about the fire accident. Ji-hoon says he's not there to get info because the finance team already helped confirm parts of the case. Sang-jung says he doesn't understand what Ji-hoon means, but agrees the fire accident is unrelated to their investigation. Ji-hoon argues the fire accident is connected because the man who started the fire could be both a criminal and a witness. He explains that on Christmas night, a visitor came to meet Woo-hyuk's father, a man with a scarred face, likely a fireworks expert. When asked how Ji-hoon knows this, he says he can't reveal his source. Sang-jung asks again, so Ji-hoon reveals that the fireworks expert visited Woo-hyuk's room that night and is the witness. Sang-jung worries that the fireworks expert might clear Woo-hyuk, but then blame his father for planning to set fire at their house, since the fire didn't start that night. Ji-hoon says the investigation should begin because this man can prove that Woo-hyuk was home that night. The next day, police arrest Woo-hyuk's father. He confesses to deliberately starting the fire at his home. Elsewhere, Seo-yeon tells Ji-hoon and others about 5 phone numbers. Seeing the numbers, Ji-hoon feels sad. Seo-yeon suggests someone unknown might be involved in So-woo's case. Then Ji-hoon gets a call from Woo-hyuk saying he is quitting the trial. Ji-hoon runs to meet with him and Jun-young also follows. Ji-hoon says to Woo-hyuk that he is doing well in trial now, but Woo-hyuk says that his life is over. Ji-hoon asks if it's because his father is arrested. Ji-hoon reveals he met Woo-hyuk's mother, and she told him everything. Woo-hyuk gets angry, asking why he dragged his mother into this. But Ji-hoon says that his mom wanted to be a witness, but Ji-hoon refused and reported everything to the police. Woo-hyuk gets furious and starts attacking Ji-hoon. Ji-hoon says life would be better without his father calling him a bastard. Woo-hyuk tells him to stop saying such things. Ji-hoon begins to take off his clothes and shows scars from his father's abuse. He says his father beat him with belts and killed his mother in front of his eyes, so he can feel his pain, and it was the only solution. Ji-hoon explains that in his childhood after the incident, the police took him into custody since he was the only witness at the scene. Mr. Han, the prosecutor, met Ji-hoon for the first time then. He saw all the wounds on Ji-hoon's body. Finally, Ji-hoon confessed to Mr. Han that his father had killed his mother. Because Ji-hoon's father killed himself in the prison, Mr. Han decided to adopt Ji-hoon. Since then, Mr. Han took very good care of Ji-hoon, feeding and looking after him. But Ji-hoon's trauma returned, forcing him to be hospitalized several times. Back into the present, Woo-hyuk family prepares to leave town permanently. Ji-hoon tells Jun-young that although his past is scary, it does not mean he has to remain cautious, because he has a father that loves him very much. He is very lucky. Detective Oh becomes suspicious and starts investigating Ji-hoon's truth. She finds out Ji-hoon was admitted to the same hospital as So-woo and reports this to reporter Park, but no one understands why Ji-hoon was there. Park says Ji-hoon might be the other Jongpa and So-woo's hidden friend, but no one understands why he supports Woo-hyuk and denies So-woo's unthinkable act, even though he should side with his friend. That night, Ji-hoon tries repeatedly to crack So-woo's social media password. He remembers So-woo's favorite painting, writes its name, and accesses a file with VIP student photos and forms images. Seo-yeon falls ill, and her parents take her to the hospital. The next day, all her friends visit her. Meanwhile, Song-jung talks to Ji-hoon, saying he is ready to become a witness in the trial. Ji-hoon keeps tracking Woo-hyuk's number and visits his home, but Woo-hyuk is nowhere to be found. The next day, when the trial starts, Woo-hyuk is already there, ready to defend himself. Seo-yeon and his friends try to influence the principal about the VIP students, but Mr. Han convinces the principal to side with him. With no other evidence, Ji-hoon presents his witness Sang-jung. He explains that the fireworks expert who set Woo-hyuk's house on fire saw Woo-hyuk sleeping there on Christmas night. He says fireworks experts sometimes set fires to claim insurance money, but in this case, it's not true. Woo-hyuk's father refused insurance because Woo-hyuk's grandmother died in the fire. Actually, his father wanted to demolish the house to build a new one, but since Woo-hyuk's mother owned the land, he couldn't. So he hired an expert who accidentally caused her death. Hearing this shocks the whole audience. When Seo-yeon questions her father and asks him whether a person who is a firework expert and a murderer, why should the court believe him? So he says that the murder was accidental, not intentional. Finally, Ji-hoon calls Woo-hyuk as a witness. Woo-hyuk says he doesn't know why he is accused of murder. Ji-hoon asks Woo-hyuk to explain why the accusation was made against him, but Woo-hyuk keeps saying he doesn't know. Next time, Ji-hoon tells him to answer only yes or no. Ji-hoon recalls all the bad things Woo-hyuk did, like bullying students, flooding Jory's clothes and hairs, locking her in the restroom, and the guard removing her the next day. Jory secretly witnessed all this, tears in her eyes. He questions why he acts so harshly and calls it pranks. Then Woo-hyuk remembers all his mistakes and apologizes to the audience. Jory arrives and says she saw how he pushed So-woo. She also states proof of the metallic sound. Ji-hoon says the sound is familiar because Jory was standing on the railing trying to commit unthinkable act from the rooftop. Jory breaks down crying, saying she will never forgive him, and then faints. Jory is immediately taken to the nurse's office. Seo-yeon comes to see her, but Jory gets up and says she really came to school that night. She saw someone climbing the roof and someone else jumping off the building. Seo-yeon doesn't believe her and leaves. After that, Ji-hoon secretly messages Seo-yeon that the trial isn't over yet because the cause of the So-woo death is still unknown. Then he shares a screenshot from Jory's phone showing a message from Jory saying he saw a man leaving the school around 12:30 a.m. Seo-yeon says Jory told her this before, but she was not sure if it was true or not, which is why she left. Seo-yeon says she wants to find that man before the trial ends, so they start searching the whole school. They find a camera near a snack bar and think it might have recorded the man. Then the detective meets Ji-hoon. She asks why he, a friend of So-woo's, was fighting against him. He says it was the only option to become the part of the trial, and also to clear the Woo-hyuk name as he is not the culprit. The detective asks if that means someone else is the culprit. Ji-hoon doesn't answer, and the detective accuses him of betraying his friends in the group. Ji-hoon says he knows but asks for more time. He will reveal everything, even if the students hate him for it. Meanwhile, Seo-yeon gets a flash drive and starts reviewing footage from that night. They see a student running, but only his back is visible. Seo-yeon and friends go to the jury's office. They say they must delay the verdict because they want to hold another hearing about So-woo's death after new evidence appeared. She shows a call log proving 5 calls were made that night. Ji-hoon worries how they can fight without a defendant. Seo-yeon says they will fight against their theories. Hers is that So-woo was murdered. Ji-hoon's is that So-woo committed unthinkable act. Everyone agrees, and another hearing is announced. When Mr. Han hears this, he tells the vice principal to enforce strict discipline against the students, but he refuses, so he fires him at the spot for letting students run the trial. The school has already suffered big losses. Meanwhile, at home, Jun-young's mother gets sick again and decides to leave the house. Jun-young says he will leave. They start packing. Jun-young's mother asks why he's doing this, saying he should apologize. He says why apologize when he did nothing wrong. His mom calls him unworthy. Jun-young gets angry and says the real problem is her other son, who she blames that he died due to him. His mother gets upset hearing this. Then his father arrives. Jun-young says he wants to die like his brother because his brother lived a peaceful life. He calls himself the real victim stuck living in this hell and leaves the house. Finally, when his father comes out, he tells him everything like he was doing unthinkable act, but a friend stopped him. Jun-young goes to Ji-hoon place and there, he sees Ji-hoon bag. He suddenly remembers it's the same bag of the boy at the time of the incident. So Jun-young realizes that Ji-hoon was also present there at the time of incident, but for now he does not tell him. Elsewhere, Seo-yeon grows suspicious and visits Detective Oh. As reporter Park once said, he would investigate Sentinel. Park tells her they did investigate, but can't say who's behind it. She believes Jung-pa first supported her, but now seems to be used like a puppet. He warns her not to trust Sentinel too much. Seo-yeon leaves after hearing this. At school, all of Seo-yeon's friends are suspended. If they miss a week, they'll be expelled. Student advisor shows them this rule is now in the handbook. Everyone is worried as this could affect their university admissions. Seo-yeon tells her parents about the suspension. They support her. She says the trial isn't over until the truth behind So-woo's death is revealed. Her parents agree to support her decision. Seo-yeon then questions Ji-hoon about the school's behavior. She asks why Ji-hoon's school, also under the same foundation, isn't facing the same suspensions. Mr. Han stays silent. Frustrated, Seo-yeon says if he truly knows nothing, there's no point talking and starts to walk away. Ji-hoon follows and asks if she'll continue the trial. She says yes, even if she has to do it alone. At home, Ji-hoon asks his dad about canceling the suspensions. Mr. Han says he can't do anything. The orders come from above. Ji-hoon questions why these rules aren't applied to his school too, since both are under the same foundation. Mr. Han says the schools are different. Ji-hoon says if his friends are expelled, he'll drop out too. He says if they blame his friends, then Ji-hoon is also guilty. He skipped school without notice, yet no action was taken against him. He threatens to reveal he's the son of a murderer, and only then will they try to silence him. Mr. Han realizes Ji-hoon said this just to provoke him. Ji-hoon accuses him of protecting himself, not others. He asks if they really thought So-woo wouldn't reveal anything. Mr. Han says he'll go to the next hearing no matter what. Ji-hoon walks away and cries in the bathroom, remembering how So-woo once asked him to tell the truth about his father. Seo-yeon and her friends are still ready to continue the trial. Meanwhile, Mr. Han calls Seo-yeon to his office. The episode opens with a flashback. Mr. Han is having a meal with Ji-hoon at a restaurant. Ji-hoon tells him that So-woo has been acting strange lately, tense, withdrawn, and constantly worried. Mr. Han meets So-woo, and So-woo reveals that Ji-hoon already knows everything, that how Mr. Han raised him and took care of him. But now he wants to reveal the truth to him. Mr. Han panics and begs So-woo not to do it. He warns that Ji-hoon won't recover from the trauma, but So-woo says he can't stay silent anymore. He feels bad for Ji-hoon, who believes his dad is a lawyer, when in fact, he manipulates people's lives like a businessman. Mr. Han loses his temper, steps out of the car, and slaps So-woo. He yells that So-woo is just a delusional kid lost in his online world, unlike Ji-hoon. He warns So-woo to stay away from Ji-hoon and leaves. In the present, Ji-hoon meets their teacher and says he wants to become a witness and reveal everything, even about himself. He also declares that he'll no longer attend the trial as a lawyer. The next day, preparations begin for the hearing. Seo-yeon submits her witness list. However, the students are absent because the school has scheduled extra classes. Still, the judge proceeds and announces that the hearing will go on without the defendants, focusing solely on the cause of So-woo's death. The teacher testifies and says he had a good relationship with So-woo, who confided in him often. So-woo wasn't alone, he felt more comfortable online, and was the one running Sentinel. This shocks the class. Seo-yeon asks how Sentinel is still active. The teacher says a friend of So-woo is managing it now. When asked why So-woo hid his identity, the teacher explains he was afraid people would be disappointed. The teacher also hints that So-woo had sensitive school information and was about to be transferred. Seo-yeon wonders if it's linked to the lab fight, but the teacher says it happened months earlier. Hearing this, more students come forward to join the trial and attend the hearing. Seo-yeon then calls the vice principal, who once agreed to testify. She asks about the post that led to So-woo's school conflict. He says it was a photo related to the illicit admission listings. So-woo had posted it online. Though it was just a cover document, the foundation pressured for So-woo's transfer. Seo-yeon asks if there's evidence. The vice principal says no, but remembers the post marked VIP. He claims the real issue began even before the fight. The foundation already wanted So-woo out, and the fight just gave them an excuse. Ji-hoon gets emotional and demands to know who gave the order. It turns out it was legal team leader Han. Ji-hoon accuses him of lying in the previous trial. The vice principal admits he wasn't truthful before. Ji-hoon doesn't trust him and leaves in anger. He remembers his moments with So-woo and realizes So-woo was trying to tell him something important. Then, Ji-hoon sees the old man from the phone booth. It was Ji-hoon himself talking to So-woo that day. Mr. Han finally comes to testify, as Seo-yeon requested. Ji-hoon asks to question his father himself, but Seo-yeon refuses. Mr. Han takes the oath and is asked if he knew So-woo. He says yes and denies ever trying to expel him. He blames the fired vice principal for lying. When asked if he knew So-woo was behind the Sentinel, Mr. Han says yes and admits he had him secretly investigated due to legal concerns about anonymous posts. When asked about the VIP admission list, Mr. Han says he has no knowledge and presses for evidence. Ji-hoon logs into Sentinel and shows the posts. Ji-hoon confirms this is the real list. Mr. Han dismisses it as a simple paper anyone could create and insists he gave no orders to expel So-woo. Ji-hoon reminds him of his oath. Mr. Han still claims he's telling the truth. Ji-hoon looks deeply hurt and leaves. Outside, Seo-yeon meets the same old man again, who confirms that Ji-hoon was the boy crying and talking on the phone that day. She realizes Ji-hoon is the one hiding something. Later, during a team meeting, Seo-yeon says they must end the case tomorrow and reveals she now knows who the phone caller was. She plans to bring him as the final witness. Ji-hoon asks for just one more day to prepare. Meanwhile, Jun-young's dad takes him out and expresses regret for not knowing what he went through. They reconcile. The final hearing begins. Seo-yeon shocks everyone by calling Ji-hoon not as a witness, but as the defendant. She declares he was involved in everything from the start, and now must reveal the truth. Ji-hoon quietly walks up and confesses that he was with So-woo on the rooftop when he died. Everyone is stunned. Seo-yeon asks what he's being charged with. Ji-hoon replies with So-woo's murder. Seo-yeon calmly asks Ji-hoon if he used the public phone near the stationery store that night. Ji-hoon nods and admits that yes, he did use that phone, and he was the one who made all 5 calls to So-woo. He then explains that he had made a promise to So-woo that he would visit important locations, and from there, he would call him. These places weren't random. They held deep meaning for him. Ji-hoon reveals that 11 years ago, his father was involved in a murder case where he killed his mother. These same locations were closely linked to that tragedy, and that's why they mattered. Before going into more detail, Ji-hoon pauses and opens up about his painful past. He says he was later adopted by a prosecutor, Han. He gave him love, care, and everything he could have hoped for, but despite all that, he could never forget what had happened in his childhood. His traumatic memories kept haunting him, and they prevented him from living a normal life. He began suffering from sleep disorders, and even had suicidal thoughts during middle school. Eventually, he had to be admitted to a psychiatric hospital for treatment. It was during his time in that hospital that he first met So-woo, and their connection began. Seo-yeon then brings him back to the topic and asks about the locations he visited. Ji-hoon explains again that each of those places were connected to painful chapters of his past. Then he shares that So-woo had contacted him using the Sentinel account. In the message, So-woo asked Ji-hoon to call him from a specific public phone. Ji-hoon did exactly that. During the call, So-woo told him that he needed a reason, something to convince him to keep living. Ji-hoon replied that he would definitely give him that reason, but he just needed a little more time. Ji-hoon says he wanted to give So-woo hope. He wanted to show him that even after living through a life full of pain, fear, and loneliness, Ji-hoon was still standing, still living. He believed that So-woo, despite his suffering, could also find a way to keep going. All Ji-hoon wanted was to help change his mind and give him the strength to survive. Ji-hoon returns to those painful places again. At each spot, he tells So-woo through voice calls that he's doing fine, even though inside he's breaking more each time. But when he reaches the last location, where a photo of his mom was displayed, he finally breaks down completely. His voice trembles as he says he's okay, but then admits he's not okay at all. So-woo then asks Ji-hoon to come to the rooftop. Juri also mentioned that she saw someone running toward the main building that night, likely heading toward the rooftop, and that person was Ji-hoon. Ji-hoon explains that when he got there, So-woo was already sitting on the railing. Ji-hoon begged him to come down, but So-woo refused. So-woo tells him that he started hating everything around him, and if someone tells him something now, he'll believe it without question. So-woo says that even if what he hears connects to his father's past, it still matters. He doesn't know what secrets his dad may be hiding. Ji-hoon asks what any of that has to do with him or his father. He insults him, calling him useless. He lashes out, saying he hates his father, and he even hates himself. Ji-hoon, exhausted and emotionally drained, says that he's not going to stop So-woo anymore. If he really wants to die, he should go ahead. But then So-woo steps back and shouts that if he walks away, So-woo will jump. Already devastated, Ji-hoon hesitates and says if So-woo truly wants to die that badly, then fine, he should die. And with that, he runs away. He races down the stairs, not knowing what So-woo would actually do. The next day, unable to stay in doubt, Ji-hoon returns to check. From a distance, he sees So-woo lying in the flower bed. When the Seo-yeon ask why he didn't go closer to confirm, Ji-hoon says he was terrified, afraid it really might be So-woo. When asked whether So-woo jumped on his own, Ji-hoon says yes. He wasn't able to stop him or even watch him fall. Seo-yeon, stunned, asks, why is he telling them all of this now? Ji-hoon finally explains why he even started the trial. First, he wanted to clear Woo-hyuk's name, who was wrongly accused. But his second and more important reason was to uncover what truly happened to So-woo because Ji-hoon believed So-woo was suffering from depression, but he had no real desire to die. Running the Sentinel account made So-woo happy. Helping others gave him purpose. He had hobbies and interests. But suddenly, after a fight at school, So-woo was labeled a troublemaker and expelled. Ji-hoon grew suspicious that something deeper happened at school, something that led to So-woo's breakdown. Through this trial, he tried to uncover the truth, but feels like he failed. When asked what his final thought was, Ji-hoon admits he's considered unthinkable act too many times after So-woo died. He never told anyone, not even So-woo. He regrets running away that night instead of stopping him. He believes if he had done something, anything, So-woo might still be alive. That's where his story ends. He sits quietly, waiting for the verdict. But then Jun-young stands up. He says the story isn't over. On the morning So-woo was found, he saw Ji-hoon staring at him from afar, crying uncontrollably, as if all he wished was for So-woo to still be alive. After this, Seo-yeon calls Mr. Han to the stand. She questions him firmly. Mr. Han finally confesses Ji-hoon had no responsibility for So-woo's death. All the fault lies with Mr. Han. He admits he lied in his previous testimony out of fear of being exposed. He reveals a hidden VIP list maintained by the school for privileged students who buy admissions through donations, not merit. This includes fabricated records, fake achievements, and covered-up misconduct. So Woo found out about all of this and even posted pictures to expose the truth. Because of this, the school wanted to transfer him quietly, but So Woo refused, so they decided to expel him. The night before his unthinkable act, So Woo had a heated meeting with Mr. Han and was verbally abused by Mr. Han, who wanted to silence him so he wouldn't interfere again. When asked why So Woo died, Mr. Han says because the school and the foundation wanted to cover up their corruption. So Woo became a threat. In the end, Mr. Han, filled with guilt, turns himself in. Police arrest the school president and other foundation members. Jury announces the verdict. Ji-hoon is declared not guilty. The judge then announces that the court finds the school guilty and dismisses the court.